Hello, everyone. Victoria Mattia here. I hope that you are having an awesome day. Thank you so much for coming back. This is the Mom Care Coach. So, if this is your first time from joining us today, thank you so much for being here. I hope that this episode resonates with you and brings you joy. If this is an episode that you look forward to every week, thank you so much for joining us once again. I hope that this episode helps you to learn something, apply something to your life, and also enjoy life a little bit more because of this episode. So I hope that you're having a great day, basically. And I'm being really upbeat and joyful because that is what we're going to talk about today. So this is going to actually be a movement part two. So, last episode, we talked all about movement and how to get it in your life and everything. And today, I want to share a little bit with you about my movement journey as an adult, as an autism mom, and how the need to have joy and fun brought life back to my body when it came to movement. So, for our one big idea is that you can enjoy your life. It can be fun. It can be exciting. It can be fantastic, even in the day to day. So, one of the things that I think is so important, especially as autism moms, when we are looking at our four intentional needs and working hard to add them into our life and for it to kind of flow into our days seamlessly, one of the things that I think is really important is for us to make it fun and exciting and to enjoy the moments. Because there's a saying that says, especially when you're raising your children, the days are long, but the years are short. And that is so true. And I would even go as far to say it's not just raising littles, it's also your life personally. I've said this the last several episodes. I will be 50 in several months in January. And it's so weird actually, because there's so many times I can remember things from when I was really little. I remember, my children when they were really little and what they were like, and just all kinds of little nuances of things that it's interesting because time goes by so fast, but in the moment, it feels so slow. And so, what does that have to do with movement? And the truth is, everything. Because so many of us as autism moms, we understand the need to have the four intentional needs in our life. We understand, but sometimes we put ourselves on the back burner. And we put ourselves on the back burner sometimes it's because it's a feeling of that's one more thing. I'm already exhausted. I'm already overwhelmed. I already have 100 things on my to-do list, especially for my children. I'm already hypervigilant. I'm already struggling with sleep. I'm already, trying to make sure I eat every day, not nonetheless, trying to make sure I eat enough and just all of the things. And when we think about our four intentional needs, I really feel like it's important for us to make it fun and exciting in order for us to actually do it on a daily basis and for it to be something we can become consistent with and really truly enjoy. So when it comes to movement, I shared last time how, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and, it was either you worked out every day for 2 hours a day or you didn't. And I was one of those that did work out for 2 hours a day. Obviously, I don't do that now. However, there was a time that the exhaustion, the overwhelm, the hypervigilance, the lack of sleep, the lack of self-care started to really weigh on my body and my mind and just my mental health, my physical health, everything. And one of the things that I knew I could do that I could have 100% control over was movement. At the time, I really struggled with making sure I could get enough sleep. That was something that was an ongoing issue. But movement was something that was all in me. I kind of had already dialed in the nutrition piece. Mindset is an ongoing work, always trying to reparent ourselves and trying to speak positively and with love and kindness like I would a friend. But the movement piece was something that, as my health started to kind of struggle several years back, that was a piece I knew I could control. However, the problem was it had to be within a particular time frame. It had to be something I would like because I knew if I didn't like it, I wouldn't stick with it. And it had to be something that I could do if my kids were to wake up or if, you know, if they were already asleep or whatever. It had to be flexible. And so this is my movement journey. So I'm going to tell you the top three things I did when it comes to movement that really moved the needle for me. So it was during COVID, and I wanted to really start working out. But as I said before, my oldest, who is on the autism spectrum, is level 3. He's an eloper. So it couldn't be something that would make it more difficult for me unless I could kind of work that out. So I wound up finding a type of movement that I enjoyed and that I could do when my kids were up and when my kids were asleep. I could do this at different times of the day, and it was something that brought me joy. And for me, and everybody's different, and I don't even think it's the main issue is not what it was. I think the main issue is that it was something that I could consistently do. And for me, it was walking. I didn't walk like everywhere, but there was a little park that was contained that I could walk in a circle in. And it wasn't just a circle, it was a circle, but also like back and forth, just the way it was situated. And it was something I could do with my kids. And it was also like next to this community garden, so they could like see all the food that was growing and the fruits and vegetables and flowers and everything. And so that was fun for them, as well as it was in an area where they were safe. So we started doing this. And so one of the things was being consistent. I started in small bits, bits of time. If I had 10 minutes, I'd do it, 15 minutes, however I had it, I would do it. But for me, I wanted to be consistently doing it every single day. So that was the first thing I did. So, what my recommendation would be if you are on your movement journey and you're trying to figure it all out, number one, start with small chunks that can work in your life and start with something that can be flexible with you, that can grow with you. Maybe you didn't have the situation I had. You have lots of resources, and so you can do it by yourself, and that's fantastic. And so, in that way, start with small bits and just be consistent. So, that was number one. Number two, that was really integral in my movement journey was grounding. I loved grounding. Grounding, I'd go outside. As I mentioned, I was walking and I would put my bare feet in the earth next to this big tree, and I would do this every day, and it would help to reset my nervous system. It was very relaxing to me, and that was something that I truly enjoyed doing. Grounding, and you can read the stats on it. I even have other episodes on it. It's very, very helpful, and it helps to reset the nervous system to help you to feel more calm, to be more collected. Being outside is just so beautiful, anyway. And then number three, I found, was really, really beneficial and helpful in my movement journey was breath work. Now, movement doesn't sound like breath work, but I started implementing breath work once I started getting consistent in my movement. And the reason why, because I was moving the breath, the energy in and out of my body, and it helped to release trauma, to release feelings of overwhelm, anxiety. It helped me to be able to think about what I was thinking about I even started like journaling right after the breathwork sessions. So it was just a really, really powerful thing. Again, it's not what generally people think of when you think of movement, but I feel like the movement piece is connected to so many things. So last week we talked about making sure you're having your tools, having like, your outfits and your shoes for whatever type of movement you're doing. And then also, getting that sound on your face, if possible, is so amazing. But if you are more of a gym kind of person, still there can be, parts of it where you can make sure you are moving your body, but also you are allowing some sunlight at times or sunbox or however you do it, because different seasons of our lives call for different parts of us. And I think that that's really important. The the main thing is that you want movement. So going back to my personal story, so it was during COVID, and I was trying to learn how I could add more movement to my life with an eloper and how I can be consistent with it. And I made it fun, and I invited, both of my kids in. We're gonna go do this, and I'd explain it to them. They didn't always have a whole lot to say, but it was still really beautiful that they wanted to be with me on that journey, because that was a part of the season we were in, and we needed to be together on that journey, because I homeschool, number one, and number two, for safety reasons. If they are awake, I'm not leaving them at home. So that was something that worked really well for us. So I recommend finding the movement that you love, and, like I said last time, you can find an accountability buddy to help you with that movement piece. And then also live in the season that you're in, make life beautiful, make it exciting. Another thing I used to do, and this isn't the top three, but nutrition, making special, healthy, fun snacks that I could get my kids to eat, and that we could do it together, like after we had movement. So when I talk about putting it in the planner or putting it on your schedule, make it so that whatever you have going on in your life, it can kind of seamlessly work in there. We're going to eat every day, so if we can put it around there, that can be kind of a fun treat. Something healthy, of course, but something that can be really exciting to look forward to. So I hope that this little short episode can encourage you to get more movement in your life and to think about how it can be more fun and exciting for you. And then, of course, living in the season that you're in, even if you have to have your kids with you, it can still be exciting. It can still be fun. And if you don't, great for you. And so just making sure that you are being consistent and loving what you're doing is going to help you in the long run. And then take those small bits, those small bites of time, and be consistent with that. And then you can increase the time, whatever works for you. So I hope you have a great day. I look forward to speaking with you next time. Thanks. Bye. And of course, as always, please do take good care. Bye.